What's up, YouTube? My name is Jason, and this is my take. And I'm back. Hope you guys had a great weekend. And today we're going to start off with a kind of late review of the new Conway the Machine album, God Don't Make Mistakes. Conway the Machine is back with his 15,000th album. But look, in all seriousness, Conway drops a lot of music like anyone in Griselda does, but it's always quality over quantity every single time. Conway's last major big release was From King to a God, which was one of my favorite Griselda albums, Conway's best album up to that point in my opinion. And honestly really just solidified Conway as just one of the best rappers alive. Like, there was no questions about it. It's very interesting because this new album over here, God Don't Make Mistakes, is Conway's debut record under Eminem's Shady Records, who he's been signed to for quite a few years now. So it's surprising that this is now, the first time we're getting an album under the label. But it's also the last album under Shady Records as Conway will be stepping away. And he's also going to be leaving Griselda Records to focus on his Drumwork label. Now, one thing that I did mention in my Westside Gunn review, Hitler Wears Hermes 8 Side B, when I was talking about the three members, Westside Gunn, Beanie, and Conway, was that Conway, in my opinion, was the best rapper, the best lyricist in the group, while Beanie was the best overall artist. But I'm now here to say that, until I, get my listens in for this new Tana Talk 4 by Beanie that drops on Friday, Conway is now in that seat as the best artist, because what he did on this album here, God Don't Make Mistakes, was absolutely incredible. On these 12 tracks, we don't just get the usual, drug murder music that we get from a Conway. We get a lot of introspection. We get a lot of emotion as Conway dives into his regrets, his mental health, as well as just a lot of self-reflection, especially when it comes to a very traumatic experience that happened in Conway's life way back, and that is him being shot in the head. Not even supposed to being able to walk, and now half of his face being paralyzed, but to still be doing what he's doing. It's just been remarkable. But man, look, there's not a bad track on this album, and Conway, really blew me away and really surprised me, because coming off of his last album, I knew that we would get high quality music, but just seeing how much further he can take it, it really is a sign of just how great of a rapper he is, and why we need to be talking about him more. So let's jump into the highlights, because there are so many on here. The opener, Lock Low, featuring Beanie Sigel, really sets the tone for the dark album that we're about to get ourselves into. One thing that I thought was really, really dope and really interesting was the Beanie Sigel addition on this song. And as I mentioned, Conway being, shot in the head and being a victim of gun violence, Beanie Sigel also was as well. Back in 2014, he was shot, and it affected his voice. You can hear that on this song as he, wraps things up on the track, and it was at times hard to hear him. I don't know if they could have turned him up a little bit, but he has a very raspy voice now compared to back then. But it was cool to see them get together. The song Tear Gas featuring Lil Wayne and Rick Ross was also a highlight. The Chipmunky vocals in the sample were a great touch. And I think everybody did their thing. I will say Rick Ross probably had the weakest verse on here. And I honestly wish that Lil Wayne went last, because he absolutely went crazy like he always does. And also, I wish there was a better hook, or maybe someone else on the hook, because Conway's was a little weak in my opinion. The song Piano Love was one of the lead-off singles on this album, and it's still one of my favorites on the project. Alchemist laces Conway with the perfect beat. This beat is spooky, it's dark, like it is haunting, it's creepy, and I love every second of it. And just these dirty, gritty drums mixed with this dark piano melody. Oh my goodness. Wild Chapter sees Conway teaming up with T.I. and Novel and getting production from Hit Boy. And Wild Chapters are referring to the difficult moments in Conway's past that he's dealt with. Specifically on this one, he was talking about, an affair that he had, him cheating on his girlfriend. And, later down the line, the girl that he cheated on, his girlfriend, they were expecting a child, and that child actually died. And then right after that, the girl that he cheated with was pregnant and had a child. Just talking about that transition and that rough period, and how, losing one child and gaining another despite how it happened. Novel sounded amazing on the hook, and we got a very dope T.I. verse as well. He's had some really solid features as of late. We see the three Griselda boys on John Woo Flick, another leadoff single to the album. It's always good to see these guys together. They never disappoint, all delivered dope verses. Conway had 2 verses on this right at the beginning. I wish he maybe would have had one at the end because I think he was the standout of the 3. Westside Gunn did his thing, but I'd rather have Conway finish it off. I also love this line by Conway in the beginning where he was like addressing rappers saying like, is there a problem? I part the middle of your head like Larry Johnson. I thought that was really clever. I love the message on the song Stressed. And Conway is, speaking on how he feels like the stress that he goes through doesn't matter given who he is and the position that he's in. Having that persona and being a hard street rapper, a lot of times their emotions aren't taken as seriously or they're just expected to toughen up, like we come from the struggle, we come from these different things, we're supposed to be tough as men. So I really thought it was interesting how he was like, well, what about when I'm going through something? What about if I want to express my emotions? Like that was really cool to see, because mental health does not care where you're from or who you are. So Much More had amazing production from Justice League. Honestly, I'd rather hear Rick Ross on this song than on Tear Gas. Like, I think he would fit more on this one, and he always makes dope tracks with Justice League. We gotta talk about Chanel Pearls featuring Jill Scott. Conway is speaking on a girl who's held him down since the beginning and kind of how he's had that versus when it comes to friends or guys close to him, it's been more jealousy and hate in his success. And this girl is Jill Scott, like in the song, she's playing that role. And in her verse, she's responding to this and showing her support. But Jill Scott is not singing on this. She is rapping, and she arguably had the best rap feature on this album. Like, I was blown away. The outro and title track, God Don't Make Mistakes, is taking us down a dark memory lane. And Conway is ultimately reflecting on that night where he got shot and just wondering, like, what would have happened if things were different? If the circumstances change, if I would have went to this place rather than this one. But ultimately, it comes back around for him to say what ultimately the theme of this album is, which is, no, like, of course I went through that crazy experience, but where I am right now is one of the best rappers out. Like, that happened as a result of that event. And like, I have no regrets. Like, everything happens for a reason. And so like, it happened and here we are. And I thought that was a really cool approach. Just, we all, wish that we could change some things in the past, but at the same time, those past events made us who we are, especially when it comes to the positive things and the things to celebrate. And when we think about Conway and all that he's accomplishing right now and the run that he's been on, like, I know that he's appreciative of where he came from and how he got here. But listen, man, Conway, man, like, we got to give this man his flowers. He's one of the best in the game, and there's no question about it. This man gave us that gritty, dirty, like, hard street music, that murder music, but he also wasn't shy about talking about how he feels, the emotions, his mental health, and I really appreciate that. Lyrically doing what he always does over very dark, hard production from his usual cast of characters, from Derringer, Alchemist, Beat Butcher. And I have no reason to ever doubt Conway and what he's gonna bring. Like, and I'm excited to see what he does with his Drumwork label moving forward and his different artists, because he has to go down as one of those ones. It can't be denied anymore. And so I'm gonna give this album a 9 out of 10. What were you guys' thoughts on this new Conway album? Did you love it? Did you hate it? What were your favorite tracks? Let's have a discussion down in the comments. Thank you guys so much for watching. Got some more videos coming. Please like and subscribe to the channel. I'm Jason. This has been my take. I'll see you guys next time.